Is the gist of what we try to focus in and get a sense and actually be able to see that is the principle that is rampant in Chassidus, constantly discussing it, how the lower elements are contained in a source, in a higher element. They are inspired and motivated from up above. This is what one may call an evolutionary change. What is the quantum leap from what we're used to thinking. That things are being built from bottom up in order to secure the bottom. Not at all. It's all coming from above. The inspiration is from above. Ultimately, inspiration comes directly from Hashem, because He wants to reveal Himself, not something, Himself on the world level. So there'll be a world, and the world will recognize its source. Not just admit to it, but recognize it, understand it, and relate to it, and serve it. For this we have all these mishonim. And as I said, at least to me, the human being is a kind of a microcosm of this whole reality. As it says, the human being is Musalmenikid Musayin. He's replicating the godly reality in the entire creation on a micro level. So we're saying that in the Seder Hishtalshelus, all the way up in the highest world, what's called the Olam ha-atzilus, there are two distinct qualities, one can call it. There's the oir and there's the keili. The oir is representative of the entire truth of the source. The keili is the means by which this oir will be presented and will be able to be accepted by the world below it. This is the keili. To give us a very, very simple grasp on the principle, a poor person, a pauper who's collecting pennies, you come over to him and you hug him and you kiss him and say, I love you to pieces. You don't give him the penny, he has nothing. He is missing that penny. In this world you need that penny. Yes, loving and kissing is much superior, but he's not up to that. He doesn't understand what that is about. He wants to get himself a cup of coffee. Coffee? I'm loving you to pieces like that. You want coffee? So this loving to pieces is a coming to keili. It has to be expressed in a manner that is present in another world. Like we said recently of the Queen of Marie Antoinette from France.
Mm-hmm.
Let him eat cake. I love him to pieces. Let him eat cake.
Let him what?
Let them eat cake. Okay. Having said all that, this we understand where we're at and what we're dealing with. So we're saying like this. In atzilus itself, which is the highest world, there is others and keili. The keili, even though it is not limited, it is not a tangible entity. Tangible means that means with the hands, but tangible with seichel. You cannot really identify, define its beginning and its end. Nonetheless, you can identify its presence. Oiros are beyond even that, because oiros are representative of the Ayin Seif. As we said, shevish oiros mihakav. Okay, and this is where we're going to start inside. This is 6 lines from the top on page Yud. The line begins with the word ha-ohrot. So we say oiros do not even have that identification or that perception of identifying one type of oil versus another. Because the shoyros oiros hemihakav, that the root of the oiros, where the oiros are rooted to, where the oiros are actually representative of, is the kav. The shoyros hamshochosoihu, which is rooted in, is hamshoch is mihoir in soif shelifnei hatzimtzum. The result that precedes the tzimtzum. This in lifnei hatzimtzum, we already had a chance to discuss this way back when. Everybody knows the term tzimtzum because we come across it all the time. The principle of tzimtzum is not merely the fact that the oil is being reduced, contracted. The principle of tzimtzum is that the focus, the practical element of the oil is being identified through the tzimtzum. Lifnei hatzimtzum, again, I'm going to give you a very, very simple mashal. I don't want we should lose the train of thought. You want to write an aleph. Writing an aleph is part of the overall ability of movement of the hand. This ability of movement of the hand is then imbued with intellect, which defines and says movement of the hand is fine, but you have to move it with some kind of a focus, some kind of purpose. Moving the hand without any intent is not a real human movement. Human movement there has to be intellectual control and direction. Therefore, the ability to move your hand has to be mitzamtzem. You have to move it in a very limited in a fashion, in a manner that it should be able to focus in and create a very simple line. The hand is able to do all kinds of different things, unlimited. I want you to make one line at a point. Now, the oil, or this ability before the tzimtzum, what is the ability of the person to move the hand? Move the hand is representative of the fact that he is a living human being. He does not have any constraints. It represents the fact that he is a living human being. And very superficially, but nevertheless, that lends itself, we can hear what this is, which is much greater than the ability to write, to make a line. And not only greater, It is relating to the very essence of his neshama. He is a living human being. The neshama is what gives him life. The oil that is represented in the ability that is motivating, that is inspiring, making a line, is rooted in the oil hanefesh lifnei hatzimtzum. Before it is being focused around, before it is being directed to any particular function, which is the living human being. Many things come to mind as we talk. One interesting thing came to mind. I don't know if you're familiar with this, perhaps you are, but this is very interesting. Our minhag is that we don't cut the hair of a boy before 3 years old. Everybody knows this. Afterwards, we keep his hair cut. A girl, the hair gets is elongated, allowed to grow. And she has a job to keeping it clean and keeping it combed and so forth. A boy, we say, no, you go to take a haircut. If your hair long, cut him off. Before 3, you don't cut his hair. What's behind this? So before 3, he has still not developed into a presence, a boy that you can teach him anything. You can talk to him anything focused. He cannot be mitzamtzem his seichel to any particular action. And we let him go wild. Quote unquote, not wild, destructive, but wild, being himself. Because he's the one that can curtail the revelation of his essential sense of living, of himself. Wanted to come out in full glory, in full glory. Once he's there, then we show him how to focus it and use that spirit in a meaningful manner. But if we interfere earlier, not put any kind of a gloom, but the point is, we don't want him to be doing the right thing without being able to understand and relate to it. We could train him earlier, but then he's being trained and said we don't want that. We want him to be a participant in everything that he does. And this is what the principle in this is. Up to 3, he let the hair go. Afterwards, I said, now you're a little boy. I put on tefillin, you put on tzitzis, and you feilach. Now there's significance in everything that you do, in a limited fashion. So the oiros are rooted in the kav. Again, rooted means that they're based in the kav. The kav is the source of its inspiration. And shoresh hamshochosoi, and the shoresh hamshoch of the kav is mi ha-ohr in sof shelifnei hatzimtzum. That precedes the means the oil is sof that it ain't sof unto itself, not for the purpose, with the aim of bringing it down, of creating a world. Oil sof in itself is unto itself. Ukmeshakos Beis Chaim, and as he writes in the Eitz Chaim, everybody has a place. We're on the line that begins Himshich, right in the beginning of it. As the Eitz Chaim writes, Himshich, he drew, Hashem drew, Kav Dak Ma'oid, Kav Dak, a thin line, Me'oir Ho'el Yoin, from the superior oil. In other words, this thin line is drawn from oil, from the higher oil, which is totally unabridged. But nevertheless, but we are drawing a thin line from there. A very simple view of this, accurate, but clearly on a different realm and a different platform. We have the sunlight coming through a crack. You have a sunlight coming through the window, where it's unabridged. Then you have sunlight coming through a little crack, through a keyhole. This keyhole intrusion from the sunlight is extremely limited, and it goes in a very straight line, and it does not spread into anyone's line. It stays there. But that line represents the, so to speak, the entire power of sunlight. This is what he says. Kav dak me'oir ha'elim v'hagam, and then although the hamshochas hakav, although that the hamshoch of the kav hu al yidei hatzimtzum is through the tzimtzum, this kav, in order for the kav, for there to be a kav, the oir elyon, this infinite light, has to be nisamtim, has to be contained and contracted, and to allow a very small opening for it to come through. That is its tzimtzum, and their tzimtzum. The klolus is havos or atzilus, which means that the coming forth of the creation of atzilus in general, hein, both atzilus ha-ohrot, atzilus ha-keili, the ohrot and the keili, atzilus in general, not only the keili but the ohrot as well. Atzilus ha-ohrot, atzilus ha-keili, both ha-keil hu al yidei hatzimtzum shehoya be'in soibot. It is all through the tzimtzum that was affected in the Ayin Seif. So therefore the ohrot are also the result of tzimtzum. He's saying they're rooted in Ayin Seif, but actually in Ayin Seif, as the Ayin Seif is being put through the tzimtzum. Sheharei hatzimtzum hoyo beho'oir. For as we know that the tzimtzum took effect in the oir. Ukenoidan, as is known, the lifnei hatzimtzum hoyo hagilui b'pchinas ein sof mamash. That before the tzimtzum, the gilui was in an ein sof manner, mamash, all through, without any restraint in this of the ein sof. Okay. Hatzimtzum hoya beho'oir. What is the meaning of this word? The tzimtzum was in the oil. That tzimtzum took effect in the oil. using the muscle that we had before, you are bestowing, you're relating to a pauper, to someone who is deprived of everything, does not have anything. There could be multiple ways that one relates to this totally deprived person. One is, I don't know where you're coming from. I don't understand your state of being. Here, take this. I have no value to this. You may appreciate it. So this is totally without any relation, without any significance. This is not a tzimtzum in the oil. This is where you are taking yourself away completely from this situation, this person. You're not relating to him at all. Like it says on the Klippos, it's like you throw him something over the shoulder. You're not relating to that. Don't attempt to understand and to know. You throw them something over the shoulder, and they grab on it. This is where you are keeping yourself completely away. This is the tzimtzum is not tzimtzum in the oil. This is you are staying away completely. Tzimtzum in the oil means something else. You are relating. You are appreciating the individual, both his positive qualities and his shortcomings. And there you find in your understanding, in your seichel, in your appreciation, the means by which you can talk to him at his level. So this is the oil, this is the tzimtzum. This is the oil after the tzimtzum. But the oil after the tzimtzum is representative of the oil of the unlimited oil. The reason I recognize you is because I'm relating to you fully. But then, in order to benefit you, I limit the process. But the inspiration behind that and the force behind it is the infinite oil. Not that I'm taking myself away. I say I don't know anything. Here, I have a few crumbs. Take it. So this means ha-tzimtzum hoya b'ha'oir. Tzimtzum was in the oil means in the oil. I just said not the tzimtzum is not, but it's tzimtzum the etzem. The etzem is there in fullness. But then from the etzem comes the oil, and in the oil we affect the tzimtzum. Ukenoida, and as is known, the lifnei ha-tzimtzum, that before the tzimtzum hoya ha-gilui v'bchinas ein sof mamash. Then the Gilui Elokus was in an Ein Sof manner. Mamash means without restraint, without qualification. We do not have words to describe Bechinas Ein Sof. We do not have words. We do not have the ability to conceptualize it. The minute we start talking about Ein Sof, we start talking about unlimited space. And the minute you start talking about unlimited space, we're talking about nothingness. Nothingness is not an entity. Nothingness is not Ein Sof. Like we said several times recently, what's eternity by Torah definition? Time going ori, going nowhere? No, that's not eternity. The Torah definition of eternity is 50 years. Eternity within the world. Olam. The created eternity is 50 years. So before the Tzimtzum, the keili was bechinas Ein Sof. Again, we cannot define it in direct form. The only way that we can kind of identify it, relate to it, is from a negative way. It does not have the constraints of what we have in a finite world. What do we have in a finite world? In a finite world, we have that in order that there be anything, in order that there be light, you have to bring light. And if you don't bring light, then there is no light, then it's dark. Because in essence, there is a fundamental lack of everything, and in order to get anything, you have to bring it in. Ein Sof is just the opposite. Ein Sof means that the possibility of something not being there doesn't exist. Not because that thing is there, but because it's impossible not to be. It's Ein Sof. What kind of entity is this Ein Sof? We cannot conceptualize it. And I said we can identify it from this external view. One motion that we present for it, again, even the motion is hard for us to understand. I always point out the difference between a very wealthy person, a multi-billionaire, and a king. Multi-billionaire, he has everything, but not everything. He has everything because he has everything. The king has everything, the king has everything because he cannot but have everything. He doesn't have anything. A king, Apidin Torah, is not even allowed to have large resources stashed away. Big treasures and things, not allowed to. But whatever he will ever need and want, it will be there. This is a kind of a representation, conceptual representation of the Ayin from Ein Sof. Ein Sof. Because he has an Ein Sof presence. And thus, there cannot be any lack there. Time is up, so I just want to mention one episode that I heard some years back. there was a time that the financial situation in the Beis Harav, Amarev, and Frierdiker Rebbe was very, very tight. There's a Chassid of Avram Parish. He was an Yisrael, and he was a businessman. He was quite a capable person, and he gave everything to Rebbe. Whatever was needed, it was everything. He said an expression that says, curtains on the Rebbe's windows are more important than milk for your baby. Just want to let you think about it. Okay, have a great day. This is it for this morning.